Is this the answer you've been looking for?
All that and more. I'm carrying on what you yourself began, and I'm creating a brand new world, one heart at a time. I thought you'd praise me, but all you ever do is hold me back. I understand, though. Unlike me, you have a heart, and you're powerless to control it. Consumed by the jealousy you feel toward the student who surpassed you.
They are not foolish apprentice of a foolish man. You have surpassed nothing, only proved how little we both know. We may profess to know the heart, but its essence is beyond our reach. We're both ignorant, as oblivious as when we began. I'm afraid that any world you try to create, any world of yours, would be an empire of ignorance. That is why you and your creation are destined to fall. We've said enough. Rico, you know what to do. King Mickey, my friend, forgive me. Farewell!
Riku! Riku!
Wow!
Riku!
Ansem did say anything could happen.
Riku, you gonna take that off?
Oh.
What was that?
His eyes couldn't lie.
Lie? And just who were you trying to fool? Huh? Huh?
Myself.
Riku, come on, man. Why did you try to do so much on your own? You've got friends, like us.
Have you forgotten? I'll tell you why. 'Cause I'm not a total sap like you.
Say that again. What should we do, Riku?
We must defeat Xemnas. He's the organization's last survivor.
Right.
Come on.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to Big Truth TV. I'm your host, Big T, in the house, back at it again, still 10 out of 10. Coming to you live and direct, so let's get live and direct. And the first thing I want to talk about is the return of Big Truth TV. We're back, we're here, we're making videos again, making podcasts again. And I wanted to have a kind of a longer-esque video to start off with. And the main topic of this video is 2021. I wanted to go in depth about this year. I wanted to go in depth about really the state of affairs. And that was. I don't usually talk about the video at the start. I usually leave it to interpretation. But I thought that was a very fitting video to have. I believe it is the return. It's the return of in that particular field, the return of a certain character, but I do think it's time to take the blindfold off for a lot of people. I think that is a symbol of this year. And without further ado, let's get right into it. It's kind of unscripted, I would say. Got a few notes, and I'll just be going through it right now. So 2021, and I really do think it was the year of like the two paths were laid out for a lot of people. You know, you could clearly see what was happening, how it's affecting the state of affairs, how it's affecting the environment, how it's affecting everything. You can see the two paths opening up and the choices that people are making. And you know, it's not as obvious as you might think. It's more, I would say, a spiritual path, a metaphysical path. And that is the crux of it, really. I see two paths opening up, and a lot of people, I wouldn't say they're going down the wrong path, and there's always time for them to switch and get back on track. But you can really see the plan being laid out, and it's not good, to put it lightly. I do have a pessimistic view. I wouldn't even say pessimistic, I'll say realistic view on the way I see things nowadays. And that is the main thing, two paths. And one of those paths you can clearly see, and even before you go on any path, you can see that the enemy has been revealed. You can see the effects on, the way of life, things, certain freedoms we had, certain topics, just to say freedoms. You can see the plan. It's obvious, and a lot of people are choosing. Well, this is where it comes into the two paths, really. A lot of people are choosing to stand up and start, calling it how it is. And a lot of people are seeing the enemy and seeing what's happening and seeing the agenda, so to speak. And they're in denial. It's like, it's not that bad, or it's not that, or you just attach a label to certain things. And that's why it goes back to the video. It was quite a longer video at the start. The blindfold, I get my words out in the end, the blindfold has been taken off, and now it's time to orientate yourself towards the enemy, not to join the enemy, but in terms to really provide a counter narrative. And this is what I'm attempting to do, these videos. This is what loads of people are doing with social media. This is what loads of people are doing through the internet, even in real life, demonstrations, etc, etc. But I want to talk about the mass awakening and certain things. It's like, in terms of 2021, it started off like, it started off with a bang. We had certain political events in other countries, insurrections. We had continuations of certain ailments, medicines, everything was going on. And yeah, and it was just like a, how can I say, every week it's like a crescendo. Every week it's like escalation. You know, one time it will be, you know, one time someone will say something, you know, they have a certain opinion or a certain belief, and then 6 months down the line, or from last year to now, they completely changed 180. So you can see it every day. And you know, I mean, I always joke with people I know that, you know, you can show someone, imagine showing someone a news article from 2021, imagine showing even from last year, to say yourself 5 years ago, or to, you know, 10 years ago, or whatever. You know, these guys wouldn't even believe what's being written. And yeah, and you can see the mass awakening. You can see people are starting to really understand and grasp it. And I don't think it's much longer now until we hit a critical mass. I really do. I really think so. But at the same time, I'm realistic. And you know, people might say it's pessimistic, but you know, we're definitely approaching critical mass. There's no two ways about it. However, on the flip side, it's like, I would say it's like a mass awakening and a mass sleep. Mass hibernation, you could say. I don't know. You know, it's, people are like it comes back to the two paths. You know, they're deciding, they can see the enemy in front of them, they can see what's being laid out, they can see the options, they can see the agenda and the steps, and you know, and they haven't made that final connection, or they're choosing to ignore it. That's the way I see it. And you know, and at the same time, people are doing whatever the TV tells them to do. You know, I've made videos in the past, you know, talking about the you know, the mass deception, you know, the coercion of social media, the coercion of any sort of form of media, really. And yeah, that's what's happening. I think people, it's really paradoxical to say, almost, you know, on one hand, people are, you know, really starting to grasp this and take action, and you know, really understand. And on the other side, it's like ostrich settings. You know, people just putting their head into the sand, and it's like, you know, it's always just a joke, or yeah, it's really bizarre times. We really live in bizarre times. And the way I look at it, I'm just gonna, you know, again, there's a quote from Winston Churchill, and yeah, it's just a paraphrase there. I've probably got it up on the screen. You know, it's not the beginning, it's not the beginning of the end, it's the end of the beginning. You know, I think the way things were, I don't know, I can't see it returning to that, because I think the genie has been let out. People are too aware now. At the same time, people are too asleep. So it's like, I just see it as a new era. And you know, maybe you could say the new era started last year, and yeah, it's really just crystallizing at this point. And yeah, I think it is the end of the beginning. And yeah, we're going to move into a new phase, a new way. And yeah, that's it really. I got another a quote from Albert Einstein, and you know, how it goes is, let me just quickly get it up. You know, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. You know, I think that's what's the next step for people who are, I could say, have realised their mass awakening and been a part of that and initiated, you could say. I think in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. So yeah, I think now is the time to really level up in whatever areas you're proceeding in. Really to start mastering your craft, really starting to yeah, just get stuck in, basically. And I think it's going to get more difficult, but you know, it brings me to my next point, which is the uncanny valley. You know, and this may not apply to you, or if you're watching this or whatever, but what I'm saying is uncanny valley is like things are getting so weird for the average guy, the average Joe. You know, oh, you know, this person, this rule, you know, it conflicts with this legislation, and this legislation conflicts with this mandate, and whatever you want to say. You know, people are starting to desynchronize from the matrix. That's what I believe, and that's why I bring up the uncanny valley, because we're definitely at the drop point. You know, maybe that is just a process of the mass awakening. Maybe it's a process of the mass sleep. Maybe it's a bit mix of both, or whatever. But I definitely feel like we're hitting this point where, you know, it's not going to start making sense for the average person, and I think that's kind of why some people are going into mass sleep. People are just saying, you know, they're just choosing to ignore it or whatever. But eventually, that time is going to come to an end as well. They're not going to be able to, you know, just pass it off as, oh, it's not real. And that's what I mean by the uncanny valley. That's what I mean by that. Obviously, the actual concept of uncanny valley is like if something becomes more real, or more human-like. There's a point where it becomes very uncomfortable to look at or be around, and things like that. You know, you see it in certain robots, and when it's usually presented in media with when you have a graphical animation. You know, the closer it gets to reality, there's a point just before it's indistinguishable from a real person. It's the uncanny valley, and I think that's where we are at now, in terms of this political sense, this social sense, this social media stuff, this matrix. You know, the matrix. That's the best way to put it. You know, people are they're seeing all these things that just don't make sense, and then they, you know, relate it to their own life, and it's just, you know, it's crossing, and it's getting to the point where actually, you know, there's none of this disassociates them from their previously contrived narrative, if that makes sense. Yeah, and then my next point is, may we live in interesting times. You know, may we live in interesting times. May you live in interesting times and come to the attention of important people. And I think there's a gift in a way to live in such an interesting time. A lot of bad stuff's happening, a lot of dark stuff's happening, but a lot of good stuff's happening as well. So that's all I have to say about that, really. And then with interesting times, when we go through difficult times, I think there's an opportunity for people who are understanding of the times we are in to gain a new power, to gain a new source of ability to impact the world they live in a different way, in a new way. And that's what I mean by new power. And yeah, that is it, really. You're gonna see things, I think, certain things you may see, like in social media, in media, whatever. You might think, oh, how did this person do that, or how has this person done X, Y, Z. I think you're gonna see more of that. You're gonna see more amazing things. You're gonna see more. The favorite buzzword of 2020 was unprecedented. Oh, this is so unprecedented. Well, I think we're going to see a lot more unprecedented stuff, because we live in unprecedented times. We live in interesting times, and a lot of things are happening right now. So, and I think it's a good opportunity for you, yourself, the viewer, myself included, to go out into this world, into this bizarro world, and claim our new power, claim our new ability. And yeah, this brings us to the thing. And to gain that new ability, gain that new power, you know, you need to keep hustling. You need to keep hustling till the sun goes down. That's where it's going to come down to. And you know, if you're that ability, if you're in the opportunity to do that, you know, go for it. There's no reason to hold you back, because the old world system is. Well, it's like dematerializing in front of our eyes. That's the way I could say it. It's dematerializing. And once we hit that uncanny valley, I don't know. I really don't know. So, and yeah, and I talk about this is bizarre, this is weird, this is strange. That's to the average person, really. To maybe yourself or people who are listening or people you've shown this to, yeah, we are initiated. We've seen these things coming from a long, long time, and that's it, really. I'll say it is. Theatrics and deceptions are powerful agents to the uninitiated. And we are initiated right now, and you just gotta stick to the plans that we have in place, stick to the process that we have in place, and yeah, hopefully we can forge a new reality as this old reality decays and dematerializes before our eyes. And what's going to happen once that happens, I don't know what it's going to look like, if it's going to be a big bang or it's just going to be a whimper or whatever, how it's going to go down. No one really knows, but I think just pick a few areas to master the craft in and just keep going. And yeah, that's the way it is, really. It's like I think the best way to describe 2021 is like how it's like watching a show that no one is, like going to a theater and the actors are performing and everyone's there, but the audience is like there's no audience, or there's, and then the people who are watching, they're just they're watching it through Skype or watching it through the internet or rerun. It's being peddled, it's being pushed, but and you can't. It's the narrative that there's the only narrative you're allowed to talk about with confidence, but the confidence in that is at all-time low. Yeah, so that's how I'll wrap it up. Thank you for watching this. I'm gonna have a channel update coming soon. I've got more things coming up. I've got Instagram. I'm gonna have clips from there. I'm gonna go more in depth in my channel update. So we're gonna be 2022. I'm gonna take my own advice. It's time to go mobile. It's time to go social media. It's time to go on multiple platforms and get these messages across. And yeah, and hopefully we have a good year next year. So thank you for listening, and yeah, share this video if you find it interesting or someone else will benefit from it. Make sure you like, maybe leave a comment, get the comment section flowing, and yeah, till next time.